us, this was really good because it's like Charlie said, it's real, and it's we're looking at real figures. It's not anecdotal. We love. I guess we're quite geeky in that fact that we like looking at the numbers and scrutinizing the numbers and doing all the calculations, which for some people is a bit of a nightmare. But hopefully, we can put it in digestible chunks. Let's put it that way. That makes sense. So let me share this. And we've done a few different comparisons. So we've got here, first of all, we're looking at cash in a bank. And for all of this, we decided not to add inflation figures, just to leave everything as the raw data. We tried to not put as many, there's different inflation around the world. There's obviously different interest rates and things like that. So we've tried to make it as universal as we can. Some of those things we had to put in, but we've not included inflation. So just bear that in mind. So look, let's start with a value of £10,000. You might not be starting with £10,000. It could be more, it could be less. But it's just a round number that gives us a basis. And we're going to give you percentages as well. So you can, 10% of 10,000 and 10% of 1,000. It's all relative. So the period is the 1st of January 2020 to the end of 2022. So those are the 3 years, the time period that we looked at. Starting value, £10,000 cash in a bank. Fine. Then over those 3 years, so the end date being the 31st of December 2022, we're looking at an end value of 10,246. So if you put £10,000 into we did a UK savings account, over 3 years, the figure that you would see, not taking into account inflation, is 10,246. And then this bottom line is the important bit, which is showing there's a total compounded return of 2.46%. And the reason we've done it like that is so that it makes it a bit simpler to compare. So we've taken 10,000 at the beginning, we've compared that with the end value of 10,246, and we've said, how much has that gone up by? Compound over time. Because obviously the interest you make in year one, then when you go to year two, the interest you make in year two is interest on interest. Not very much in a bank. And then interest for year three is interest on interest. So total compounded return gives the fairest view of what's gone on over that 3 year period. So if you're putting money in a bank, cash in a bank over the last 3 years, the average UK savings rate, you're going to be looking around this amount. And obviously there's lots of different interest products you can get. There's instant access accounts, there's ISAs, there's 1 year fixed, 2 year fixed where you can't touch the funds. The numbers that we looked at were for a 1 year fixed account. Instant access, you get less interest because you can access it whenever you want. 1 year, you get a little bit more. I mean, we're talking tiny amounts here. We're like splitting hairs, really. 2 years, you get a little bit more, and so on and so on. And we thought we'd just do 1 year because we didn't intend to touch it for each individual year. So just to be transparent on where we got the figures from. If you were looking at 2 years or 3 years, it might go up by a few points, but it's not going to excite you, put it that way.
Not at all.
And there's
you're locked in, Adam, aren't you? And you're locked in. And you're locked in with the high interest accounts. Whereas if you have precious metals, you're not.
Yeah.
And there's no bank fees in there and bank charges in there either.
No, we've kept it, tried to keep it really stripped back because fees differ from bank to bank and things could be skewed. There'd be quite a big range. So we just tried to keep it really straight.
Yeah.
The other thing, well, I guess the reason that you don't get very much is it's a free product. You simply just give them your money. They go and leverage it. The bank, they lend it out. They do, they make a lot of money from your money. And then they literally give you the crumbs on the table. So you don't get very much, but you don't have to do very much either. You just
I think that's being generous, Adam, isn't it? To seeing the crumbs on the table is being generous, isn't it? So
yeah. And it's a very low barrier to entry. It's what everyone does in inverted commas. So it's there's a bit of social proof behind that. So that's cash in a bank. We'll come back to that at the end.
Calling all US citizens. Check out the link in the description to get your free Goalbusters ebook.